Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to our PCTC online event. I appreciate the effort everyone has made to attend. Thank you very much. We have an exciting evening in store for you. And to begin tonight's event, we're going to have the playing of our national anthems, both the Canadian as well as the Philippine anthem. Thank you, everyone. Could we pause for the playing of the anthem?
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, Diyos na silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Upang hinilang, tuyan na ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka masisingin, sa nagalang lubog sa simulat, sa langit ng pangaw, ay hinatang nilaraw, sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawan mo'y patuloy na nag-iindig, ang ituwin at araw na kailan, ang kailan ang iindig, upang ang araw na walang pagsinta, ay langit sa piling mo. Ang higaya ng barangay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to start the evening off by welcoming the Consul General of the Philippines, Mian Austria. Thank you kindly for attending. I would welcome or love to hear your welcome for the evening. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Irv, and good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Philippine Consulate General in Vancouver, and with the kind permission of my boss, Ambassador Robles, I am honored to see all of you tonight. I'm privileged to join you as we hear from a very distinguished list of speakers. I would like to first acknowledge the presence of His Excellency, the Philippine Ambassador to Canada, Ambassador Rodolfo Dia Robles, Minister George Cho. I'm not sure if Minister Chow is here. MLA Kenny Chu, a former PCTC member and former board director. Our good friend, Mr. Neil Mort of the Accenda School of Management. And I'm hoping Minister Ann Kang will be able to also join us later. I look forward to listening in tonight on what is not just a very relevant discussion, but also very important. The nexus of international immigration, migration, education, recovery is really, to me, now driving the new dynamics in the relations between the Philippines and Canada. And it is true to form that the PCTC will be leading the charge in trying to address these issues, look at it carefully, and plan a way forward. So with that, I would like to welcome everybody and wish everyone a very fruitful and productive discussion. Thank you.
Thank you kindly for your words of welcome. At this time, Francisco would like to introduce our first speaker, Minister Chow.
Good evening, everyone. When our president informed me that I will introduce our first speaker, I immediately said yes, knowing he is an active Vancouverite and a fellow British Columbian, an engineer by chosen profession with a long, impressive career and community activities, having been two-term member of Vancouver City Council 2005 and 2011 and elected last 2017 as BC Legislative Council Assembly representing Vancouver Fraserview and appointed Minister of State for Trade. I need not talk so much so we can hear more of the Honorable Trade Minister George Chow.
Thank you for the introduction, Francisco, and good evening, everyone. I'm George Chow. I'm the Minister of State for Trade for British Columbia, and I'm also the MLA for Vancouver Fraserview, which is the southeast corner in Vancouver. And I'm very pleased to speak to you from Vancouver on the traditional territory of the Coast Salish peoples, with whom we share this land and their hospitality. And I would like to extend greetings from our Premier, John Horgan, and thank you to the Philippines-Canada Trade Council for organizing this important event. And it's an honor to have Ambassador Robles of the Philippines in Canada. He's joining us from Ottawa, and Consul General Maria Austria, whom I have met many times in Vancouver, and joining us this evening. And also present is Member of Parliament Kenny Tree of Richmond, and greeting also to my fellow panelist, Neil Mott. And I appreciate the work he's doing as Vice Chair of the BC Council for International Education. Unfortunately, Mr. Kang could not join us today because Minister N. Kang, who's the MLA for Burnaby Deer Lake, could not join us, and she, being the Minister of Events, Education and Skills Training, would have a lot to say, particularly with regard to the BC Council for International Education, as well as other matters. But we're here, and I look forward to the discussion. And British Columbia is one of the most popular destinations for international students in Canada. And international education helps build lifelong global connections. Way after students graduated from the host country, they remember the host country, and that is great for trade and cultural exchanges. And there is a direct line between international education, immigration, and trade. And I recognize the connection being made in today's agenda. I would also like to acknowledge the incredible work that the business community, including the Philippines-Canada Trade Council, this is doing great work despite this extremely challenging time of the pandemic. Many of you are no doubt thinking of family and friends here in Canada, as well as in the Philippines, as we work to contain this pandemic. Trade and investment will have an important role in our mutual economic recovery, and that's what I would like to speak to this evening. So on the topics of economic recovery, the Clean BC program, and our trade initiatives. My primary responsibility as Minister of State for Trade is to strengthen trade and investment in the face of global changes and challenges. I've been asked by Premier John Horgan to lead special projects that will support trade in areas like the BC shipbuilding sector, aerospace, and forestry innovation. I have recently been named chair of the newly formed Mass Timber Advisory Council, which was created to establish British Columbia as a leader in the production and use of mass timber which is wood engineered to get more value out of our lumber and forest. And I'll lead the development of a new trade diversification strategy to promote, to promote BC as a leading supplier of low carbon goods and services. As countries emerge from the pandemic, businesses around the world will be competing for trade and investment dollars. Increasingly, investors are applying environmental and social consideration in their decision making about where they want to spend the investment dollars. That's why we are positioning BC as a clean, quality supplier of sustainable, innovative goods and services. Clean BC is not only our domestic plan to reduce pollution and use more clean and renewable energies. It is also a key to boost our competitiveness in a crowded global marketplace. This approach will support our strongest and most reliable export sectors, such as forestry, mining, and agri-foods. It will also position BC's emerging and growing sectors such as LNG, liquefied natural gas, clean tech, biotech, and agri-tech for great success. For example, many countries, including the Philippines, place a high value of knowing that the food product they import are pure and sustainably produced. Agriculture and food, other than fish, continue to be some of our most important export to the Philippines and is a testament to the quality of our products. And about the opportunity for increased trade between BC and Philippines, it was recently reported that the Philippines and other ASEAN nations have benefited from the global surge in demand for consumer electronics. Last year, BC exported more metallic mineral products to the Philippines than any other year in the last decade, despite the pandemic. This was mainly due to copper ore that we exported, and it was used in electronics and automotive parts manufacturing. Softwood lumber from our sustainably managed forest is an important export to the Philippines as well. And as I mentioned, agriculture and food, other than fish. The Philippines is one of the fastest growing economy in Asia. This growth presents new opportunity for BC exporters, including in clean tech and low carbon solutions. And some of the success stories, for example, Equiver Technologies, based in Burnaby in British Columbia here, is a world leader in water purification technologies. They have partnered with Cooler Industry, which some of you may know is the Philippines' largest manufacturer of drinking fountains and water dispensers. Each installation at Equiver water purification strategy is bringing safe drinking water to people and reducing the need for single-use plastic water bottles. This is one example of the many opportunities that have opened up for trade and investment with the Philippines. Some words about immigration and trade. Our strong cultural and business ties will be important as well, all as we work towards an economic recovery. Immigrants help build this country, Canada. I'm an immigrant. I came to Canada as a teenager in 1965 to reunite with my father, whom I had not seen for 10 years. And I'm sure there are many of these stories now still. Immigration not only raises imports from the countries of origin. We see this with the success of stories like PriceSmart that specialize in imports, including coconut and mango products from the Philippines. I remember I attended a promotion event a couple of years ago at PriceSmart in Richmond, organized by a wholesaler of food products from the Philippines. It was a great event, not just food promotion, but it was a cultural great event. One thing to know is that immigration also results in more exports. The Philippines is one of our top source countries for immigration. We welcome immigrants from the Philippines and we thank them for the important work they do and the roles that support our economy. We continue to review options to help internationally trained professionals from all over to get job opportunity in BC. They'll align with their pre-arrival skills, whether it's through the provincial nominee program, which provides a pathway for people to become permanent resident, or through career paths or skill immigration, another program that helps with newcomers find employment that utilize their pre-arrival qualifications. Immigration will be an important part of BC's social and economic recovery post-pandemic. And in terms of trade support, before I like to speak for a moment about the supports that are available to businesses interested in exporting. For those seeking to export during COVID-19, a strong online presence has become increasingly important. The Launch Online Grant is a program that provides up to $7,500 per business to businesses to help build or expand e-commerce, to reach more customers, and to sustain and grow their businesses. In response to a high number of applications, our government has invested an additional $30 million in the program. Our government has also partnered with Alacrity Canada through the Digital Marketing Bootcamp to help BC businesses build their digital marketing capacity. For those businesses just beginning their exporting journey, there's the Trade Accelerator Program, which we partner with the Greater Vancouver Board of Trade. This program provides resources and mentorship to help small and medium-sized businesses scale up, develop, and activate an export plan. So in conclusion, I like to say we started last year with a very strong economic foundation, and then the COVID-19 pandemic struck. And while COVID-19 has created challenges for trade in all the markets around the world, but it has not changed our strong fundamentals. Supporting the trade and investment effort of BC businesses is a priority for our government as we work toward a sustainable, inclusive, and innovative economic recovery here at home. I will continue to work hard to open doors in Canada, the Philippines, and around the world, as I know all of you will as well. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Minister Chow. I appreciate that. I'm not sure whether we have some questions that may be forwarded to him at this point. Any questions from the floor?
Yes, I do my best to answer your questions. I know some of you are probably from outside of Canada. Yeah. And as soon as this pandemic is over, we'll be visiting a lot of countries in order to open up the trade opportunity. We do have a trade investment office in the Philippines, and we are moving into our Canadian Embassy or consulate offices so that we could actually work with the federal trade offices to better our promotion of trade between the countries. So before we had a kind of like a contractor service whereby we actually engage local contractor to help us promote trade, of course, from BC, and of course, selling our product. But we still use the same thing, except now they're brought into the BC government as our employees that is stationed overseas. So it would help us to reach actually more cities and more countries. So I welcome your question. And on the question of trade diversification, which is very important, the world is changing, the economy is changing, and we need to diversify our trade to many more countries rather than concentrating on a few of our big trading partners. And I think Philippines is one of the great potential to allow us to do that. We have great ties between the two countries, not just not just in trade, but really in terms of human resources and human capital. And that's very important to us.
Thank you, Minister Chow. I think we've been overtaken by all the things you've talked about. You've mentioned the importance of the immigration. You've also mentioned the significance of some of the work that you're working to establish with the low carbon solutions and clean energy. And you're highlighting the fact that our immigration from the Philippines is a vital part of the economy. And so with that, I think we have some touch points that we can advance from. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And as part of our thank you to you, Minister Chow, we have a small gift that we'd like to forward to you. And it's a gift that includes a globe and an etching which you can place on your desk. And we thank you very much for your willingness to participate with us tonight. And we'll make sure that this gift gets forwarded to your office as a small thank you for your kindness in participating with us tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I very much enjoy talking with you, and I will continue to stay on to listen to the next speaker. Certainly, we talk about education, and that's certainly very important to us too, because in Canada, we have over 500,000 international students. In BC alone, we have over 300,000, and many of these are from across the Pacific. And they are not only our economic driver in terms of helping our economy, but they're great, as I said in my speech, they're great cultural ties in the future. Even if the student were to return to the host country, they know Canada. They learn English, and so it would be great for both countries. And I really think I like to listen to Neil on your insights. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's a great segue, because today we're going to have Tess Manalo speak to us and introduce our next speaker. Tess, if you would, please. Tess, I'm sorry, are you here? I saw you here previously. You're on mute, I think. There we go. Please go ahead.
Well, before the introduction, I just want to say a personal hi to Councillor General. Haven't seen her for over a year and a half. I mean, all of you as well. The last event I was at the Burnaby, I think it was, what was that hotel there? Hilton. Yeah, so it's always great to attend events put on by the Filipino community. Yeah.
Thank you, Minister Chow. While we're waiting for Tess, I hope the others don't mind if I take the opportunity to ask you a question. And this is something you've heard me ask before, but I just feel that it's very fitting because of our topic tonight. We've had several discussions on the issue of the recognition of the credentials of our professionals who are already here, especially now the healthcare workers. So basically, and I'm sure the ambassador will have more to say about this, but I just want to take this opportunity to again solicit your support for this effort to get the credentials of our medical professionals recognized.
Yes, definitely. Even though that is not in my ministry, but I will definitely work with Minister An Kang and whoever the other minister who's responsible for the provincial nominee program as well, and to really accelerate this kind of program so that immigrants who were professionally trained, have a lot of education in the host country could actually practice what they learn. And I think that's very important, not just for them, but for us too, because that would help our economy, help our communities. Yes, definitely.
I think we're having some technical difficulties in getting
Yeah.
Tess involved.
I
But I
can.
would like to welcome Neil Mort. He is the president and educator at Ascenda School of Management and more. Neil, I thank you kindly for taking time to address us this evening. We know that, tell us a little bit about your school, tell us a little bit about your fancy offices there on on on
Burrard Street. Yeah,
Burrard Street, and then we can carry on from there. Thank you kindly.
that's great. Thank you, Chairman Irv. Honored guests, Minister Chow, Consul General Austria, Ambassador Robles, and other distinguished guests that are amongst us here. And I did want to also just pay a special note to Julian Payne, who is here, I'm assuming from the Philippines right now, from the Chamber of Commerce. Good to see you. And to the many other colleagues that are here today that I recognize. It's nice to see your faces again after such a long absence as we've worked our way through COVID. Minister Chow, I just wanted to start by saying thank you to your government, who have really helped guide us through this very, very difficult journey over the past year, and quite remarkably, it has not been easy. And thank you for all the good work that's been done, and also for the incredible support that you've provided to the international education sector. It's much appreciated. I wanted to, if I can, just switch over. I have a little bit of a PowerPoint here that I would like to share with you. And just as I'm getting going here, let me just turn it on. There, can you see the PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Great.
Perfect. Yeah. And of course, we didn't. I wanted to also say thank you to Tess, who I know is here right now, but maybe the microphone's not working correctly. Tess and I worked as colleagues for many years, but also directly worked together at Ascenda School of Management. And such a wonderful person, and we have such great memories together. I also wanted to acknowledge one other person who is with us on the Zoom call here, and I'll introduce her a little bit more formally later. Elizabeth Z, who is a graduate of our of Ascenda School of Management. So thank you all for being here this evening and for giving me this opportunity to share some insights into the international education in our province, and also about Ascenda School of Management. And what's most important, of course, is the transition and how international students are preparing to enter and help out our economy here in British Columbia. So today I will start just with a little bit of an overview to Ascenda, talk a little bit about the economic impact of the international education, the impact of the private degree sector, and how schools like Ascenda contribute to the international education and immigration, and benefit our jobs, economic recovery, and innovation. And then finally, we'll wrap up with a student's perspective, which I think will provide a very interesting insight of and an opportunity to ask questions about how it impacts our actual students. So Ascenda School of Management began in 2004. Our origins go back to 2004. We were one of the first institutions to be granted degree status. where we introduced our Bachelor of Business Administration program. We are a private, not-for-profit degree granting institution. We have currently about 1,700 students, full-time equivalent students, or at any given time about 1,250 students actually enrolled and taking courses with us. Our students come from about 50 different countries. The Philippines is one of our strongest student group of students at the institution. We offer the 2 degrees, Bachelor of Business Administration with concentrations in accounting, human resources, international business, marketing. We have a general business category, and we also offer a degree in hospitality and tourism. There's lots of institutions, educational institutions, both private and public, of course, in our province. And I guess I wanted to just highlight a few of the things that I've noticed as president, but also even before that cause Extended to stand out a little bit. And there's 2 kind of key phrases. One is our motto, which is international thinking and individual focus, which says a lot about how we approach education, and also how we approach our relationships with our partners, our friends, our stakeholders, and of course our students. And that is, we are thinking globally about what we're doing. We're providing opportunities for international students to come to Canada. We're preparing them for job opportunities, and we continue to try to educate them in a way that thinks beyond nationalities, beyond cultural perspectives, and really helps them develop the ability to communicate and interact with people from around the world. We also are known for our connecting people and professions, which is, I think, a very much a signature of Extended School of Management. And that what we're trying to do here is we build the opportunity for students not to just get their education, but also to build a pathway to a future employment opportunity or professional opportunity. And we do this through designations with groups such as the Canadian Chartered Professional Accountants, the International Accounting Organization, ACCA, the Chartered Managers, the CPHR group, for human resource professionals, and recently a much more robust relationship with the CITT in logistics and transportation planning. And these are the types of things that we do to try to help students transition from being a student into a work opportunity. We also do a much more robust program in introducing them not just through the pathway, but also through developing presentations, guest speakers, sponsorship to conferences, etc. I just wanted to revert back to a little bit about the international students in BC, and I do want to acknowledge that in 2019, as Mr. Chow mentioned, there are close to 188,000 international students, and that number has even increased to some degree in 2020. Broken down in the private sector, there is about 88,000 students who are here under study permits, and that doesn't include students who come as language students, which is another large number, and who have not got formal study permits. And about 78,000 in the public post-secondary sector. So the private post-secondary education sector is a large part of the international education group or sector in our province. The top 10 countries for students in British Columbia come from India, China, South Korea, Japan, Brazil, Vietnam, as you can see here, Mexico, Iran, USA, of course, and Taiwan. The Indian sector has grown quite significantly over the past few years, and we have a our own enrollment reflects something quite similar, except we have India is our largest group, but the second largest group is actually students from the Philippines. And we've had a very, very strong relationship with the Philippines, and many of our graduates are originally have come from the Philippines. Within the international students, where they're studying, well, the majority are in the lower mainland area, with about 78%, and then they're dispersed throughout the rest of the province beyond that. They do provide, as Mr. Chow mentioned, a really significant impact on international education, and contributing $6.6 billion to our economy, and our billion that they spend on within the province, and 3.5 billion contributing to the British Columbia economy. They also are responsible for a large number of jobs in our province, not just directly with the institutions, but also through ancillary services, recruiters, other providers that provide support services for them. And we are, in fact, right now ranked as international education is ranked as the third largest trade sector when you consider international education services as an export. And that ranks behind, I don't know if this is a little bit tight here, right behind mineral fuels and oils, wood products. International education ranks third in there. So it is a very, very large sector and very, very important to our economy. In terms of the different countries, as you can see, certain countries, it makes up a large part of the representation of our international, the amount of exports that go to the country. Countries like India, it actually, international education is our largest export to India. And it has impact also in terms of the jobs in different parts of the regions, which can be seen, but primarily impacting the lower mainland area. And I mentioned the lower mainland area because I think that that's where a lot of the job opportunities will be coming up in the future. The financial, more specifically to the private post-secondary sector, the overall sector contributes about 1.5 billion dollars to the gross domestic product here, and is responsible for about almost 24,000 jobs, which is quite significant. And I don't know that the private sector is recognized as much in our within the as a part of the educational sector. So we have there are about 17 international or private degree granting institutions in our province right now, and like Exanda School of Management, they help to contribute to the international education and immigration, and they benefit jobs, the economic recovery and innovation. And where the key areas that I think that we as an institution can help students, we help students. Number one is providing the appropriate skills and knowledge for the selected sectors. Each institution will have a particular area that they will support and help. Our focus is on business, others more on technology, and so on. Common to everyone, I think one of the key things is providing and assisting English language development, which is really a fundamental skill that I think is probably and one of the most beneficial skills that students will develop while they're here. Beyond that, I believe that one of the real things that we do is we provide a bridge between coming from a different country, adjusting, and then transitioning into the Canadian society. And we do that through promoting intercultural understanding, both through our curriculum and also through the experience of being at an educational institution with people from around the world. They learn virtually by interaction with people from other cultures and countries, and how to adapt and how to learn respect and tolerance for working with people. And these are really critical skills because, as I say to students, when they go out into the workforce, their workforce and the people that they will be managing in the future, and Elizabeth can maybe elaborate on this as well later on, that that is going to be also a very diverse group of people. We also help build those professional connections. We provide professional and personal support, so help them with their transition. And we also give them a sense of what it means to be a Canadian. And I think this is something that is really important. We're bringing in, as Minister Chow mentioned, about 500,000 students in Canada, international students. A lot of them will be eventually become a part of our society and part of our of Canada. And I think it's really important that we as educators help them understand what it means to be a Canadian, understand our past and our history, understand some of the issues that we've had with our First Nations people and how we're dealing with that as well going forward. And finally, the international education process provides immigration options for people that they can transition to get work privileges and a postgraduate work permit. Those are some of the ways that our institutions help. I'm going to skip those ones here, not necessary, but I did want to go to the a student's perspective, and I wanted to introduce Elizabeth C. Elizabeth is the Senior Human Resource Officer for T&T Supermarkets, and she graduated in 2016 and in our BBA Human Resource Management program. And I'd like to ask her, Elizabeth, if you could say a few words about your experience as a student.
Sure. Thank you, Neil. And thank you for inviting me here. And good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth. And as Neil introduced, I was a graduate from Ascenda. And I actually joined the school at 2014 January, and this is not really a good season to come to Canada, which is, it's snowing, and when you come here by yourself, you kind of like feel lonely. And but I must say, the instructor and the classmate that I get to know from Ascenda, they really notice that sometimes we notice each other, or your instructor notice that you are not really adapting to the lifestyle here. They give us so much support, and lots of the instructor and my classmate, we still keep in touch with each other. And lots of my friends are from the Philippines, from India, and as a recruiter and as a human resource officer now in T&T Supermarket, actually I get the chance to have interview with lots of people from different part of the world, and most of them are from India and also from the Philippines. And sometimes when I communicate with them, it really gives me the sense that the way that they talk, the way that they communicate, is different from me. And then I get to understand them because I learned the way that they express themselves when I was at school. And also, I would say the skill that I get from Ascenda, the technical skill, like, all the Microsoft skill, everything, it really developed me in a way that, I think it's one of the reasons and I got promoted quite fast in my company, because I'm not like want to compare with people from other graduate from other institution, but the things that I learned from Ascenda really makes me stand out. And the other thing is the skill that I have is the communication skill, because of the small team and the small classes in Ascenda. I really have the opportunity to, to communicate with my teammates, to communicate with my instructor, and also have the chance to express myself in the classes. And to be honest, at the first few terms, I'm someone that, I don't really talk in class, and I'm so shy. I have to be forced by my instructor to come out and, express myself. But in time, I was in the HR club, and I became the president of HR club, and it gave me a lot of chances to communicate with others, and it also strengthened my English speaking skill and also my public speaking skill. And it's really useful come to my job now, because as an HR, you need to communicate, very often with, candidates and also from your internal customer. And also sometimes we do receive customer calls as well. So what I get from Ascenda is really valuable. And then I think last but not least is the connection that I get from Ascenda. Like I have some classmates, they are now a financial advisor in Scotiabank. Some of them, they are working in a construction company, which, you know, in a way that we are alone here, you know, when we have some different kind of issue that in our life, we can always, you know, look for our friends and, you know, and instructors to get us, you know, some help. Like, you know, if I want to buy a house in here, you know, what should I do? You know, it's really useful that you have a classmate that is a financial advisor now, and we keep all those connections. And I usually try to host a meeting every year with my classmate, but it didn't happen last year in the pandemic. But I really hope that, you know, in the future, you know, and the school and, you know, this kind of situation that, you know, we can be able to host more, that we can make connections. And yeah, overall, I really feel that I'm so happy that I'm a graduate from Ascenda. And I hope that, you know, my sharing will, you know, give you some insight about the student life, international student life in Canada. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth. And once again, thank you very much for this opportunity to address the PCTC. I think one of the things that comes out very strong is that we need to look at and consider our students just not coming here to be educated, but also that they are people that are looking for the opportunity to perhaps come to Canada on a more permanent basis and maybe be future citizens of our country. So that's our role as educators, to make sure that we do a good job to help in that transition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil. That was a wonderful presentation. And Elizabeth, you make a fantastic advertisement for Ascenda School of Business. You do very well. I trust you're doing well with your in your T&T responsibilities there with the staff and so on. I want to say thank you to everybody for attending. I think we have I would love to hear from Ambassador Robles if you have any comments to make, because we've scurried along with our program, but we haven't really given you a chance to greet us or to make any comment. Would you care to say something at this time?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for your organization in presenting this very educational, very informative meeting. I would like to say that I was about to ask, by the way, if in that school there are Filipino international students.
Yes, we have. I think about almost 250 to 300 Filipino students.
Oh, I see. That's good to hear, because I was really listening, because the topic here is how BC jobs, economic recovery, and innovation benefit immigration and the Filipino community. So I was curious if there are Filipinos in your school. But anyway, I got a lot of information here, and I think it's a good thing that I decided to join and listen to the very enlightening presentations of the two speakers. Thank you very much to everyone, and I hope someday we'll meet in person, because since I arrived, it's been always on screen that I'm meeting people, like our friend Mr. Hildebrand. I met him several times, but on screen. Also, I think Mary a bit on screen also. So yes, and of course Elena, I've seen her on screen also. So, but everything's on screen, and I feel it's very little interaction when it's on screen. But thank you very much again, and good night to everyone.
Thank you. We have the privilege of having Julian Payne present with us this evening as well, and I want to say thank you. I know for you it's not evening, but Julian, you've worked hard to make this a part of your agenda, and thank you for joining us. Do you have any comments today?
Yes, thank you, Irv. Thank you, Chairman Irv, and nice to meet you, Minister. A great privilege. I would like to say that we really want to work closely with the department and PCTC as a team BC to really try and increase trade and investment and mobility of students both ways. I'd like just to make 2 points. The single most important thing that needs to be done between the two countries is some format of a free trade agreement. There's none that exists, and our competitors in Southeast Asia have them. So if BC wants to really increase its trade with the Philippines, we have to, at both sides of the Pacific, push our political leaders to get a FTA in place that covers Canada and the Philippines. That's my first point. And there are 3 options: the CPTTP, the Canada-ASEAN agreement, or a bilateral. The second point I'd like to make is that, we're in a dark time here in the Philippines now. Economic growth has slowed. We have quarantines like everybody else, but the future is bright. Every economist predicts significant long-term growth of the Philippines economy over the next 2 decades. So in a sense, we're in a time now just before an FTA and just before the recovery starts to get our act together to really increase BC-Philippine trade and investment. And we would like to work very closely with you, Minister, and your department, and with the PCTC to make this bear some fruit. We have already on our books a planned event in June with PCTC looking at the issue of investment opportunities for Philippine money in BC and investors' visas. With that, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to participate. It was a great presentation, and I've learned a lot just from this session. Thank you, Chairman Irv. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you. Neil, we jumped around a fair bit to accommodate a number of people, but are there further questions that we could address to Mr. Mort about the education process that Ascenda is offering the community?
Question: is there an opportunity in the nearest future that Ascenda can accommodate online, because of the current situation right now? We don't know what's going to happen, right? So is there an opportunity that would be a simply online studies from, let's say, Philippines or Hong Kong to Canada via Ascenda?
Well, thank you for that question. The answer is absolutely yes. In fact, we're doing that right now. In last March, we realized when at the outbreak of the COVID that we had to switch, and I feel really proud of our organization to say that we actually transitioned very, very well into that into fully online learning. We had been looking at transitioning to some blended learning over a 2 to 3 year period, but our 2-year plan became a 2-day plan, and we literally had to overnight become an online delivery program. So we have very successfully over the past year and a bit been delivering classes to students all over the world, both synchronously, which means sort of in live time, and also asynchronously. Now we are planning and hoping to continue a blended approach going forward, because what we did find is that a lot of the students actually prefer and like the experience of online learning. But we will primarily be a face-to-face one, but we will have some online opportunities going forward after we return to campus later this year.
Do you have an existing syllabus for that, so I could send, or a soft I could send it to my friends in Manila?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll put my email address here.
Okay, perfect.
If you send me an email, I will I'll get that. I'll send you the details.
I could probably send it to Tess then, and then they could send it to you directly.
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So Chairman Erb, this is Robert. I thought I would just chime in because I was very pleased to hear about the Ascenda's approach to education, and just wanted to let the group here know that I see Carmelita's on this group here, and I work with Carmelita within the Southeast Asia Canada Business Council. I'm a strategic advisor, but one of the other things I'm doing right now is I'm actually developing out an international destination ski resort. And so this is a new program that's just been announced for the far end of the Fraser Valley. But with that comes, I think, going to be a substantial need. It's going to be an attraction for international tourists. And so there's going to be need, I think, and I'd like to follow up with Ascenda in particular, a need for education within the tourism field and resort management. And so that's something I just wanted to put out on the table that I'd like to pursue that further with Ascenda.
Love to talk to you more about that. Thank you. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Hi, Chairman Hildebrand, Consul General, Ambassador. I usually call you George when I see you, but Minister Chow. David McGrady here. Neil, thank you very much, and congratulations to Elizabeth. Doing wonderful there. Do you happen, Neil, to keep track of the students that graduate from your school to see what percentage actually stay in the country and what percentage actually pursue careers here in Canada? Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question. Yeah, we are tracking it. Our right now the data that we have is a little bit inconsistent over the past, but roughly about 75% of our students have decided to stay in Canada. So we are finding, and I think I would say that probably that number is even higher now, that they will stay for the opportunity to work here on the 3-year postgraduate work permit. And probably closer to about 80 to 90% of our students choose that option. It's such a great opportunity for them. It's a little bit harder to track the ones that become permanent residents and immigrants. We do try, but unfortunately, we do tend to lose track of people after a few years. But it is a substantial number.
Thank you, Neil. Fantastic. That's a great turnout and wonderful for our economy and for our cultural differences here that we have. And that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great point. Thank you, David. Any other comments, questions?
Hello. I think Tess is.
Hello. May I have the floor?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me?
Can you turn your speaker up a little, or can you move closer to the mic?
Okay, I'll do that. I have a lot of apologies to make. Neil?
Nakita ko na.
What's that?
I think we're getting some feedback, Tess.
Yeah, no, oh. So what do I do?
I think you might
have another computer on at your house there, Tess?
Okay.
Ah.
That's better.
One here. Because I need to talk to Neil. Okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Neil, I'm so sorry. I prepared a very good resume for you, but well, things happen, so it is like that. Anyways, I cannot anymore go back to the presentation for you. So all I have to do is to, first of all, apologize because of those technicalities. And necessarily, the last thing I could want to give you is to let you know that I see you as a master educator, and a servant leader. Of course, this is because he is also a very good friend. So thank you, Neil. Instead of me introducing you, you introduced me through. So sorry for that.
That's no problem. It's good. My head might got too big on this screen otherwise. I've always said in working with Tess that I can see, as the words of, I think it was Isaac Newton, I can see far because I stand on the shoulders of a giant. Tess, you are the giant.
Thank you. And thank you also to Elizabeth. Thank you so much for always representing Accenda in the best way you can.
Thank you, Tess.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That was great.
Herb, I have to, I'd like to follow up on the topic of ambassador of Congen Austria to the minister regarding professionals coming into to Canada. Until now, we are having a problem on these professionals who cannot be who cannot work as to what they have studied or what they have been trained in their own country prior to coming to Canada. That's because of we don't have the accreditation in a country like, for example, Manila. In the USA, they have a organization which is called ABET, that is Accreditation Board for Engineering and Technology. And what it is, they arrange with the schools in Manila, accredited so much so that their graduates will have an easier or convenient way of landing a job or work when they come to North America, let's say in the US or the Canada. Unfortunately, we don't have an organization like ABET here in Canada. So if the minister maybe can start something like, for example, in Manila, ABET accredited Mapua Institute of Technology in that school, and what it means is every graduate of that school would now have a easier way of landing a work or anything that as soon as they arrive here in Canada. And maybe the minister can start.
Yes, thank you for the question. I know that's a good suggestion. We will look into what the US is doing, and certainly immigration, it's a federal issue, but at the provincial level, it would be what we call the provincial nominee program, whereby the province look at our skill shortage and recommend or at least let the federal government know, what kind of skill we need here. But as far as accreditation, I know of the Engineering Society of BC has this kind of program, but I don't think they go as far as what you said in terms of going to the host country. So certainly it's something that we will need to look at, and I certainly would work with the Minister of Advanced Education and Skills Training, see how we could actually intensify these programs in order to give accreditation to immigrants, prospective immigrants, particularly. So, yes, thank you for your information.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, everyone. This has been very interesting. I think we need to move on to our next event. And as part of my thank you to you, Neil, I'd like to say that we have a globe etched for you as well, which we would like to present to you as a thank you gift for taking the time to speak to us and address us here. And we'll get that to you shortly.
Thank you. My pleasure.
We would like to take some time now to to have a networking session. We have a number of people that have prepared what we call an elevator presentation. And Romeo is going to introduce that. Please go ahead, Romeo.
Thank you, Chairman Irv, and good evening, everyone. My name is Romeo Kilala, and I am one of the directors of PCTC this year. Sorry, can you guys hear me okay? Perfect. Okay, so Irv was correct. What will happen this the last activity will be an elevator pitch where we have 4 PCTC members who will share who they are, what they do, within 1 minute. Okay, I'm happy and excited because this is a great opportunity for us to reconnect and be familiar with our PCTC members. 3 years ago, when I joined this organization, this is the best part. Like, I always wait to network and exchange business cards. But since we are in a different working environment, we want to utilize this technology to get to know each other better. Okay, so we have me, I'm included on the 4. We have Miss Laarni Liwanag, Miss Marisol Gonzalvo, and Mr. Eric Ching. Okay, so we have 1 minute each, and I'll start. I do have my timer here too, so I might go over time a few seconds, but let's do it. So my name is Romeo Kilala, and I am a financial planner with TD Wealth Financial Planning. I am supporting the Olympic Village branch in Vancouver downtown. I've been there for quite a while, and what I do is actually I help the mass affluent clients of TD Bank to plan for their future. And I help them organize their investments, specifically RSP and TFSA, and make sure that they achieve their financial goals. Okay, it might sound like a cliche, but what I like in my job is that I work with some of the amazing individuals in our community. Little did I know that in Vancouver, the biggest movies are actually created here. Film and technology and Hollywood movies, right? So these are highly motivated individuals, professionals, business owners, and they value their career and their business, and they value their family, their kids, the future of their kids and their education. And these are the people who values their, these are the people actually who values their, they want to, sorry, it's my alarm. I'm done with the 1 minute. But these are the people who wants to protect what they work hard for, and they want to leave a meaningful legacy. So if you are that kind of person, maybe we can meet and have coffee down the road. I would love to connect with you. That's my elevator pitch. Thank you.
Thanks,
Ms. Larney. Over to you.
Romeo, that was great. Thank goodness it was a long elevator. That worked well.
That is a long elevator, yeah.
Okay.
I will try to shorten mine as short as possible. Anyways, my name is Laarni Liwanag. I'm not new to PCTC. Actually, I was the past president for the term 2011 to 2012. So what I do right now, so a lot has changed since then. So what I do right now, I help people provide. I help people to provide protection for their families from its initial conception to its final end. So what I do, I do offer RRSP, RESP, TFSA. There you go, Romeo. And then in between, I specialize in insured retirement planning. It's a strategy that will allow you to save money for your future and enjoy a lifetime tax-free lifetime income. And for that strategy, you have to talk to me how to do about it. And I can be contacted at 604-551-3360.
Larney, that was
or short.
Larney, that was great. That was
amazing.
great.
Thanks, Larney. And next we have Ms. Marisol Gonzalvo. Over to you.
You're muted.
I think you're on mute, but I can see you here.
Can you?
You can unmute. There you go.
Good.
You're on mute. You're on mute again. There you
I'm
go.
so sorry.
It's okay.
Hello, hello to all, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. This is really a good opportunity, and what a great presentation so far. My name is Marisol Gonsalvo, and I am a business development partner at Sun Life Financial. I work closely with a group of advisors from recruiting and selection to leading, developing, training, and coaching. And my mission is to bring the best out of my team to achieve their goals and improve their lives. I'm currently looking for someone who has a can-do attitude and who wants to make a difference in the community. So if you know anyone, please call me on 236-333-5447. Thank you again, PCTC, for this opportunity.
That's
Thank you,
amazing.
Maris.
Thank you, Marisol. And last but not least, Mr. Eric Cheng. Eric, over to you.
You're muted, Eric.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. I'll do that again. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'd like to say a special greeting to some friends I see on the call, including Irv, of course, Dave McGrody, Dodi Lucas, and Francis Lingad. I am a partner in Urban Design Group Architects here in Vancouver. We are a full-service architectural practice. We specialize in commercial and mixed-use developments, from shopping centers down to tenant improvements. So if any of you are in the commercial development or commercial investment industries, please feel free to reach out. I'm also involved in a few initiatives that explore opportunities to share knowledge, technology, and best practices in the fields of architecture, construction, and education between Canada and the US. Was that a minute? Thank you.
That's within a minute. Thank
Awesome.
you. That's great, Eric. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Ms. Laorni, Marisol. Over to you, Irv.
Thank you, everyone. This is fun. I look forward to this part of the evening all the time. Ambassador, please. You're muted, sir. Sir, you're muted. Ambassador.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I had to speak again, and thank you for this opportunity, because one very important topic which was mentioned here is very close to my heart. It is actually my capital advocacy as an ambassador, because it involves the recognition of credentials of our professionals here in Canada. May I just inform everyone that we already launched in our embassy a program. We met already twice with our consul generals, and what we are doing now is we have gathered all the information about credentials in every province, and so we are now on the second stage of trying to strategize what to do in every province and whom to talk to in every province, because as stated earlier, this is not a federal approach. It's actually a very provincial authority. And so just to answer some questions there about these credentials, we have a program which is ongoing. We'll be informing you about it as we come to a stage where we can already launch the program on the provincial level for the whole of Canada. I think we'll be, if I may compare it with baseball or softball, we are on second base already. We are about to run for third base, and when we get to the home run, we will inform everybody how it will be done. And I hope we will get the support of everybody who's listening here about this problem, because this to me is my, as I said, my advocacy for as an ambassador. But we will start, by the way, with the nurses, and hopefully we will segue to engineers and other professionals. We have already lined up all our activities, and but we're not ready to launch it publicly yet. But rest assured, in the next couple of months, you will hear about it. Thank you very much for this footnote on my part. Thank you. And thank you, by the way, to Mayan, who actually mentioned it earlier, and for the question that was presented about it just a couple of minutes ago. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ambassador. I think it's exciting that you're moving forward with that program. I think that would benefit the Canadian economy, but also the Philippine economy greatly. We've been speaking about that, and it's an issue that's close to our hearts to see that come about. So we wish you Godspeed in that. That concludes our evening session, and I want to say thank you to all of you for coming out and for participating. We've had a few glitches, and every time that we operate together on this Zoom, we get better at it. So if you come in May, you'll see it run even smoother. And then in June, as Julian has said, we should be running smooth as silk. And I thank you everyone for coming and for your participation. I wish you all a great evening.
Thank you, Irv, and welcome to Canada, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Have a good
Minister.
night.
Thank you.
Salamat
Thank
po.
you, Minister. Thank you,
Salamat,
Ambassador.
Ambassador. Thank you,
Salamat,
Minister. Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you,
Chairman Earth, thank you.
God bless.
Bill, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kilala.
Oh, thank you,
We have,
sir.
we have, we have many town mates in my province with your family name.
Really? Where exactly? Ilocos?
That's Quezon province in Tiao.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sir, I'm from
Our
Quezon,
last names-
Tayabas, Quezon.
Wow.
Yes, yes. A very beautiful town with the longest church in the whole country.
And good resort.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, nice seeing you virtually, Ambassador. You know,
Wow.
our last name is very unique. Even in the Philippines, I feel it's very few people who has that last name.
Mhm.
So it's interesting.
Yes, I know. I know, but we have a few in Tiao, Quezon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I assume that's a relative.
Well, probably
Yeah,
you're
Already.
For sure, yeah, it can be. Hi, Tess.
Hi, Tess.
It's been a while. Good to see you.
Tess, I need to connect to
Sir
the
Tony.
TNT, Elizabeth Che. Yeah, if possible. Tess?
Tess, you're muted.
Yeah.
Tess,
Yeah.
I'll send you an email with regards to Ascenda as well as to the TNT resource manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alam, kunin mo isang chair. Opo ka dyan.
Anyway, thank you so much, PCTC. It's nice to see you again,
Thanks,
Mr.
Gigi.
Ambassador. Yeah.
Nice seeing you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care, Gigi. Hi, Miss Carmelita. Kumusta po?
Hi, Mercedes. Hi, Carmen.
Hi, Mercedes.
Very good presentation. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
And
guys.
Excellency, nice to meet you again on Zoom.
Yes. Tess, thank you for your persistence in getting through to us.
Yeah. And I had to apologize really to Neil because I told him I prepared a very good presentation for him. So, but he's a nice guy.
Yeah. He's a
All
gem
right.
of a guy, so that's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving. Thank you, guys. Ambassador, thank you.
Thank you.
Herb, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. I'm going to close the meeting now.
All right.
Next time.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Congratulations, Herb.
Congrats, Herb.
Ito?